Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning. Back to the wild, wild west. Andrea, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Kelly. How is everything on the West Coast?
Well, it's the West Coast. We're rocking and rolling just like the rest of the world seems to be these days. Yep.
Yeah. So let's just jump in. Let's start covering some news. We're going to talk about the Ripple lawsuit. There's so much news to follow. I am amazed at how much is happening from week to week when we do the podcast. I'm like,
I agree.
Unbelievable. I did not think that things were going to transition this quickly, but here we go, right? We had the Super Bowl on Sunday. I mean, it was dubbed the Crypto Bowl. And why? Because there was 5 cryptocurrency commercials during the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, and I actually just had to go into YouTube because I didn't watch the game just to catch the commercials. I just wanted to see, so I knew. But just real quick on that, I know you're going to talk about the Coinbase commercial, because I was actually trying to do something on Coinbase and I was not able to do that. So continue your thread here.
Yeah, so for everyone that doesn't know, so Coinbase came out with a commercial and all it was like a QR code and it was kind of bouncing off the screen. So when you scanned your phone, you got like $15 free in Bitcoin from Coinbase, and they were doing like a huge giveaway. I think they gave away like $3 million in prizes or something, with crypto, and it actually crashed their server.
Yeah.
So way to go, Coinbase. From a marketing perspective, that was amazing. The older generation had no idea what was going on. It was really cute. My mom was like, I saw that Coinbase commercial. I saw the Bitcoin bouncing across the screen.
Exactly. Sure. What's that box? What's going on here? Sure.
So we have a lot of education ahead of us, right? Because especially after today's podcast, it's like we are moving into a new financial system.
No doubt.
And every week that goes on, we prove our thesis, right? Because we have this idea, we're speculating, but we're going to dive in deep and uncover what's going on right now. So we had Etoro, Crypto.com, Bitpay, FTX, and Coinbase. Those were the 5 that did the Super Bowl commercials. I think Binance did a commercial around the Super Bowl. So that was, again, it's like the television tells you a vision, and it's telling you that cryptocurrency is coming. Okay. And we are expanding on our old legacy banking and payment platforms to a new digitized way of doing banking and business. Now, with that said, there's been a lot of like FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt coming out about Biden's executive order, right? There's so much fear in the market going on around about this. So I uncovered some research, and what I can tell everybody is this. The executive order is coming out next week, hopefully. That's what Biden said. Okay. And what it's going to do, it's going to provide a cryptocurrency regulation framework. So we're looking at like a wide range of government strategy, from the director of the Treasury, from Fsoc, which is the Financial Stability Oversight Council, from the SEC, which is the Securities Exchange Commission, the CFTC, the Commodities Future Trading Commission. And what Biden is doing, I totally 100% agree with how they're handling this. they're asking every single regulatory agency to be like, okay, like, so the Treasury is going to be in charge of researching and looking at the risk analysis of a central bank digital currency. So, you know, central bank is our Federal Reserve Bank. They're looking at issuing a central bank digital currency. I'm going to say probably 2023, 2024, this should be a done deal. Okay. Now the Fsoc Group, which is the Financial Stability Oversight, so they're going to look at the digital assets market, how it impacts markets. What's the growth? What's the risk? There's we have the Attorney General. They're also going to be studying CBDCs as well as how cryptocurrencies are going to impact our markets. And then the Commodities Future Trading Commission with the SEC is obviously going to be looking at market protection, right?
Right.
There are rug pulls, there are scams. Retail investors, we need protection. Again, we don't need protection from Ripple and XRP, but some of these projects, they want your money, the price goes up, everybody sells it, they call it a rug pull, and the average retail investor walks away with nothing.
Yeah,
so we don't want
stories. Right. There's stories out there for sure.
Right. So we don't want that to happen. But again, the way that they're going about asking for a framework and input from everybody, I think that's the best way to handle this situation, not just the SEC.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I love it. I love it. So last week and continuing pretty much until like yesterday, and this is going to be like an ongoing thing. I don't know how much mainstream media is covering like the truthful story of Canada, the Canadian convoy. Okay, but this is what's going on, and I got updated up until the point I went to bed last night. Right. So whether you agree with the convoy, whether you don't, like Kelly and I are here to share the news with you. This is what's going on. We have these protesters that don't want any more mandates. And it's not just the vaccine mandates. People in Canada have been living in zones. So if you live in a zone and your family lives in another zone, and if the COVID cases are high, you can't go see your family. This has been going on for about 2 years. The way that Trudeau is handling this is very, very bad. We want to learn from this and make sure that the way that Trudeau is handling the protests and the people by freezing their accounts.
Right. Right.
They
have
really no access. Right. They have no access to their banking services right now. Trudeau is removing the insurance on their trucks. They're peacefully protesting. Every single person, whether we agree with this or not, has the right to peacefully protest. Trudeau froze their accounts under the anti-terrorism law.
Yeah, it's a big deal what's going on up there. We need to be leaning in.
So we're going to lean in. Meanwhile, and this is a learning experience for all of us, we're observers and we're watching this happen without judgment, okay? 5 banks, 5 major Canadian banks. There was a run on the Canadian dollar yesterday. 5 major banks shut down.
So it's like it's like the Great Depression when the banks shut their doors. Like, no, you can't do anything with your money. You're completely closed. You can't do anything. You're completely locked out. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So just imagine not having access to your money in your bank account. Okay. So as alert, like Kelly and I were observing, we talk about insurance policies. We want to have physical cash in the house. If something happens where we don't have access to our money, we can have cash and go and buy our food and just stock up. And again, this is an insurance policy. We're not saying this is happening in the United States, but it's happening. There's major protests going on in Brussels, Australia, New Zealand. This is happening all over the world. So we want to be mindful of this. We don't want to be scared. I'm concerned. I'm concerned for the Canadian people. There's so many people that don't know what's happening. But the day that we don't have access to our banking accounts, it causes a bigger problem, and it causes instability in the financial system.
Undoubtedly. And, and this is not about creating fear for anybody. It is always being in that place of awareness, and also, considering alternative news resources for yourself. Because if you go to alternatives news resources, you will see how Trudeau is handling it. There are videos of, the things that are happening in their parliaments, or, all these things that are taking place. And the writing's on the wall. You can find the real story, and we're just encouraging people to do that. And I couldn't agree with you more in regards to having cash on hand. Who knows what will happen here in the United States? Who knows what will happen anywhere in the world? But
Right.
I'd rather at least have some options.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we're in the middle of February, March is around the corner. During World War II, everybody went and planted victory gardens. So wherever you live in the world, you Google what's the easiest crop I can grow.
Right.
And start a victory garden. Why not? Right. Even if we don't need it, we get to go feed people. Like the protesters in Canada, they have so much food. They're feeding the homeless people. They're cooking for them. They're barbecuing. It's a beautiful sight to see people get united. But as people unite and the government sees that as a threat, now we're seeing if your bank account is frozen, if you send cryptocurrency to anyone in Canada, you are labeled as a domestic terrorist. Okay. This is real. This is happening. And they're freezing centralized bank accounts. And I think, Kelly, you had a hard time with some of the wire transfers, right? For crypto, they were frozen.
Yep.
America.
I was having a really hard time acquiring some cryptocurrencies through Simplex, is the platform I was using. And for 36 hours, I was completely blocked from being able to do any transaction. Now, whether or not that was just, in my little neck of the woods, I can't, say that everybody else was experiencing that. But for myself, that, was absolutely the case. And there's alternatives like BankSex and all kinds of different ways. But yeah, it was really interesting to see. And I wasn't able to access my Coinbase account for almost 3 days. I couldn't get into my account at all.
Yeah.
And
so these are things
that is concerning. This takes us into this next part, is these major exchanges, anything that is considered an exchange. So Voyager is considered an exchange, Gemini, Binance, Coinbase, all these, they can at any given moment shut the doors for a while. Coinbase has been synonymous for doing this. When the markets are really highly volatile, they will often just completely shut the door and you can't do anything with your account. That's concerning for me. I want to be really aware of where my assets are sitting. I want to be able to know that they're safe, number one, and be able to trade it if I choose to do that. And so I'm really leaning in very closely of taking all of my coins that are sitting on an account such as Voyager and bringing them into my SafePal wallet.
I'm going to do the same thing. So for folks out there that don't have a hardware wallet, you're kind of it's great to get into crypto and have your coins on Voyager or even Coinbase. I mean, if you live in New York, you're so limited to the exchanges. You could use Gemini and Coinbase. And I think that's it if you live in New York. And I'm originally from New York, so I have a lot of people who are into crypto who live in New York. But if you want to take your coins, you want to transition them over to a SafePal wallet, reach out to Kelly and schedule an appointment with her. It's 100% worth it. If you want a ledger, reach out to me and schedule an appointment with me, because we want to protect our money. When we transfer our funds to a ledger or a SafePal, your cryptocurrencies are stored on the blockchain, and the government they do not have access to them. They cannot hack it. They've never been able to do it. Bitcoin has never, the Bitcoin blockchain has never been hacked. All of these, blockchains have never been hacked. when you keep your coins offline. So just keep that in mind, like as we move forward and we're getting like more and more news. And I'm hoping that the transition from the legacy banking systems to the new open banking systems, because Ripple came out with an article saying that open banking systems are starting to take off in North America. Our banking systems are changing. They're not telling us. No one on Fox News or CNBC or CNN or NPR is telling people that we're moving towards an open banking system. And this is happening. So as we go through this transition, I think the safest thing, let's get all of our coins offline. And it hurts me because that's how I earn my income. But the risk reward for keeping our coins on these platforms right now, Kelly and I both agree, it's high risk. Let's get our coins offline.
And it's really hard because there, I've been kind of sharing a cursory look at this in some of the groups that I'm in as far as what I'm looking at. And it's painful to think, man, I just spent all this time getting even some of my assets from my SafePal over into the likes of Voyager or something. So I could be earning interest back. But, at the end of the day, my 5% on ADA, overarchingly, how big of an impact is it going to be versus me losing access to my coins? It's null and void for me. So yeah, I'm glad we're talking about it because it's because in Canada, it was they made an immediate decision and there was not an opportunity for anybody to even think about it, right? It was just done. It was a done deal.
It's a done deal. Like when it's done, it's done. We can prepare as much as we can. And then the change, it happens in an instant.
It can. It absolutely
can.
You
just wake up one day and boom, you don't have access to your bank account. You don't have access to your dollars. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we protect ourselves. And again, it's like, Kelly and I were talking a lot this week about the SEC and BlockFi. So BlockFi settled for $100 million. They had to pay the SEC to, I don't know why, right? Because it's a savings and loan platform. You can put your coins. They give you a really nice, interest on the coins that you have. And they do give you a debit card as well. Right. So what the SEC did was they told BlockFi, you are offering unregistered security assets to your customers, and we need to protect your customers. So what they did was no new customers for 60 days until you fill out the application with the SEC to bring on new clients. Now, the clients that are already on BlockFi, they're okay.
Right.
So how is this protecting us? If I already have an account with BlockFi, that's okay. But all the new people that want to start earning interest, no. And I'll tell you why. And this is speculation, but here we go. 60 days, BlockFi is going to apply for an application. Who knows when they're going to get approved? But here we have Wells Fargo, Bank of America, SunTrust, Chase. I don't care what bank it is. I'm telling you guys, in the next 60 days, maybe it's 180 days, regular banks are going to be offering cryptocurrency custody where you can just keep your Bitcoin, your XRP, whatever it is, at your bank. It's coming, and they want the old legacy systems to stay in power and not new companies like Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, who have been giving almost 80% of the profits back to the customer. It makes zero sense. But again, Kelly and I are here to bring you the news. There's nothing we can do. We can't change this. We can't be like, well, that's not fair, because the SEC and the government does not care about our protection, right? We could go to Las Vegas and put all our money on number 9, but we can't earn interest at BlockFi.
I'm sitting here shaking my head and, knowing what I know, there's no way that I would ever go into a major banking institution and say, here, do you want to hold my cryptocurrency for me? Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And like, right now, like what I do is I keep almost all of my cash in Celsius. I transfer it to Voyager. I put it back into my bank and I cover my bills. Now, last night, I got an email from Coinbase. Now, if I had a regular job and I got a paycheck, I'm allowed to direct deposit my paycheck into Coinbase. This is the new banking system.
Yeah.
This is the new banking system. Okay. Soon we're going to be able to get our direct deposit paycheck into Voyager. Voyager pays 9% interest per month on the United States digital coin. The current banking system pays you
0.01 if
right.
you're lucky.
And if you have a credit card and you're in debt, you're paying interest.
Right.
So when we go back and we look at how the banking system works, we know that it's vulnerable. Okay. We know that if there's any kind of disruption right now, like, again, I bought a camper a couple weeks ago. I go to the bank. I said, hey, I need X amount of dollars in cash. I don't know about that. You're wiping us out of the vault for the day.
Right.
One person can wipe out Bank of America's vault for the day. That's a concern. Okay. So the current banking systems are vulnerable, especially when there's so much uncertainty going on in the world. That increases the vulnerability. So the banks are asking you to put your money into the banking system. They take that money, they lend it out to the institutions, they make money, they pay the bank back, and then the bank gets to pay you in cheaper dollars. That's the current financial system, and it's not working. So places like Coinbase, Nexo, BlockFi, Voyager, Crypto.com, they are going to they're creating a fairer system where we're going to be earning interest on all of our different assets.
Yes, indeed they are.
And while this transition takes place, I know I love Voyager. I love me some Celsius. But for now, like Kelly and I both agree, there's so much uncertainty. We need to keep our coins on our ledger, on our SafePal, get a YubiKey. You could it's like a little device that you plug into your computer, and they need that device to have access to your coins.
Right, exactly. And I just picked up a Keystone wallet. Keystone's an air gapped wallet where it's just a signature. So, I mean, there's so many ways to go about it. And, we're just looking at the interim just so these things we can ride the waves for a while. Just ride the waves for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely like riding the waves, right? And we're also, we're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together, right? Because again, there's been so many different rug pulls that have gone on, in the cryptocurrency market. Why is the SEC going after a company, Ripple, who has met with the SEC on a regular basis since 2012? And every single government agency except the SEC has declared XRP as a currency. As a side note, the Federal Reserve Bank has been working with Ripple since 2015 on cross-border payments. Article linked below. Okay, we're not making this up. But this whole thing, I'm telling you guys, it's been planned as far back as we can find the documentation, right? This is like the Federal Reserve website. It's on this one was with Ripple. This was on the Ripple's website that they partnered with the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to use XRP, but the Federal Reserve Bank partnered with Ripple because Ripple is one of the leading companies to provide on-demand liquidity for cross-border payments. Here we go. And the documents are getting unsealed.
Next week, there should be a lot of fireworks. I think.
Yeah, and I think I honestly think it could. So yesterday, there was one document that was unsealed. Now today, 2 more documents should be unsealed. Ripple, their lawyers, They don't want anything redacted. Remember when we talked about redacted documents a couple weeks ago in our podcast, where the SEC was showing a conversation that Bill Hinman had with Ethereum people, and every single word was blacked out. That's a redaction.
Right.
So Ripple, because they're 100% transparent, they're like, no redactions except for their initial investor. They don't want that release, which makes sense, and the SEC agreed. So here we go. We have a transparent company versus a government agency that is 100% not being transparent. Very interesting. This is better than any TV show. Any TV show.
It is, but and we are on that precipice where we have to be living and being able to witness what truth is. And if you're redacting information in any context, who isn't willing to be transparent? I'm not interested in doing business with somebody who isn't interested in being completely transparent. Off my list.
Yes, I'm in 100% agreement, and so should everybody else, right?
That's just the way it should be in terms of relationships, period. Let's be truthful. Let's be in our integrity, period. Full stop.
Full stop. Full stop. Full stop. All right. So before I kind of jump, I really want to get into the open banking, and there's so many things I want to kind of connect some of the dots, what's going on with, with Ripple and XRP. I just wanted to make an announcement that yesterday, Warren Buffett sold a big chunk of his Visa and MasterCard, invested $1 billion in a crypto-friendly bank in Brazil called Nubank, NU Bank. $1 billion Warren Buffett just invested in a cryptocurrency-friendly bank.
So my mind is going back a number of years, and I can see a video with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett bashing cryptocurrencies. I remember this whole, what do you think about cryptocurrencies? And, whatever they were saying. So this is, that's really interesting. I have to chuckle. That's huge.
You have to chuckle. And that's the thing. It's just like, this is what's going on. And it's like even Ray Dalio. So Ray Dalio is a billionaire. He, he's like the head person over at Bridgewater Investments. He did an interview and he said, we're entering into a competition of money. We are in a currency war. So they say. I kind of feel like it's all planned out, but we'll see how much the more knowledgeable we get, maybe we can disrupt some of what's happening. But he said cryptocurrency, CBDCs, NFTs, as the dollar is losing value, all of the cryptocurrencies, the NFTs, there's a shift happening. And here we go. We're going to see the winners and losers through competition, who's got the best projects, but NFTs, cryptocurrencies, the tokenization of any asset is going to be a part of this new economy. Ray Dalio is telling you. Warren Buffett invested $1 billion in a cryptocurrency friendly bank. Visa and MasterCard have so much competition that MasterCard is hustling. They just hired 500 cryptocurrency people to join their staff.
What's so super exciting?
I love Kelly's face. I wish you guys could see this.
What's so super exciting about all this for me is that, there's always, the market wants to breed fear. So even today, a lot of the market's in red and it's about shaking people out. It's like to the general retailer, are you thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? And they're like waving their finger at you like, no, you shouldn't do that. I'm kind of thinking of the Jurassic Park, And so, but in the reality, what I really feel is going to happen is that people begin to get their tax refunds back. That influx, any extra cash that people may have sitting on the side, is going to start flooding into the cryptocurrency markets in an unprecedented way.
Such a good point. That's totally going to happen.
It is totally going to happen. And that is why I think there's predictions about when the market is really going to start pumped green again. And people are going to start becoming more and more aware of, you know what, this isn't working for me anymore. Instead of going here and putting all this money in my 401k or whatever right now, I'm going to go ahead and take a nice chunk of this and put it in the market, and let's just play the game. Let's let's ignore the fear and let's go for it. And that's really what I'm excited to see take place. I think we'll see adoption
me too.
Really jump in the next few months. Well, certainly the next few years, but over the next few months, I think we're going to have a huge leap in that part.
Yep. So what we want to do is we want a dollar cost average, whether it's $10 per paycheck, $20 per paycheck. Okay. What's going to happen is that as our legacy banking systems transfer to these new open banking systems, right, which is basically going to be an app on your phone. You're going to have a QR code like the one that was bouncing around on Coinbase, because they're telling you a vision of what you're going to be doing. You're going to scan that QR code to buy your goods and services. So we want a dollar cost average. We don't know how low the market's going to go, right? There's like, I mean, pick the disaster, right? There's so many different things that they're trying to scare us about. But again, $10, $20, $50, whatever your financial position is, this is not financial advice. We're just telling you what we're doing. But I would highly recommend doing some of this research, because as we move into these new systems, we have the new standard of cross-border payments, peer-to-peer transactions. Okay, they're all going to be done with these ISO 20022. Okay, we're getting regulatory clarity soon. And once this happens, the United States digital coin, XRP, XLM, Ethereum, Stellar, Algorand, Cello, XDC, just Google who's the ISO 222. Cardano is going to be added, Hedera Hashgraph. So they've picked the winners for now. These are the winners. It might be a good idea to do a deep dive to decide which ones you might want a dollar cost average into. Okay, because when we talk about peer-to-peer cross-border payments and these Ray Dalio's talking about cryptocurrencies being an asset, this is how we're going to be exchanging value through the internet, because we are building the internet of value.
That's it, exactly. Building the internet of value.
I can't believe it's happening. This is freaking happening. And last week I said, let's speculate. Let's put our thinking caps on. Could Ripple be a bank? One week later, I have to say, yes, I think Ripple is going to become a bank. Why? Because they came out with this document on their website about open banking and how it's growing. So it's like we have Coinbase, Gemini, Circle, FTX, Voyager. They're all going to become our new banks, y'all. So what's going to happen to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all these companies that have basically been cheating people for years? We'll see what happens.
Well, and that's why the name, it's XRP is the ticker symbol, but Ripple, that's why the name is so important. Think of the ripple. I mean, the ripple effect that's going to take place. I mean, I always like to look at the world through the metaphorical lens, but it's really such a story.
It's a story.
It's a story. So,
and we still are early. We're right on time, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we are. It's kind of like, I like to think of it as like, the story of the 100 monkeys, right? They're all at the ocean, and the papayas come in and they're dirty, and they all kind of stand there. No one does anything. And then one monkey goes and washes off their food. And then 2 monkeys go, then 4 monkeys go, then 8 monkeys go. You guys, this is the same thing for adoption with digital assets and cryptocurrency. And we're seeing the commercials start to come out. We're seeing the narrative almost change, and we're just going to hold our coins. through the ups, through the downs. I don't care if Bitcoin goes down to $9,000. I'm not selling, right? Let's look at what's going on in Canada. What gives Bitcoin such a use case, comparatively speaking, to some of these other centralized coins? There's no government intermediary. It's peer-to-peer transactions. So if we do wind up having a tyrannical government, we can share value with each other through some of these platforms and exchanges.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be on a centralized system. Ka-ching,
So, cha-ching, cha-ching, right? It's coming, y'all. Just hold on. I mean, we are part of the biggest transfer of wealth that is happening, and we're in, and we are hodling on for dear life, right? We are holding our coins. We're getting them offline. We're watching the news. You know, I mean, right now, everyone should be studying this at least a couple of hours, if not more, a week, I would think.
Just got to start observing, you know, just start observing what's happening around you. That's it. It's a great place to start.
So, fun fact, through my research, I came across a video from CNBC.
Okay.
CNBC was interviewing Brad Garlinghouse.
Okay.
It was 7 months and 1 week ago, this video was made. And in the background, they had bullet points for Ripple.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the original investors in Ripple was Andreessen Horowitz and Peter Thiel. It freaking said it on CNBC in the background. They didn't say it, but it was listed. So Peter Thiel and Andreessen Horowitz are big time, y'all. They are not going to invest in anything that's not going to work out. The other interesting fun fact was 7 months and 1 week ago, Ripple was valued at $10 billion. 7 months and 1 week later, I just did that podcast. What did I say? $15 billion. They have gone up $5 billion during an SEC lawsuit. In valuation, they have gone up $5 billion. Can you imagine? They're worth $15 billion. Just as like clarification, Visa is worth $438 billion. We are at the beginning. We are at the beginning of mass adoption. It's so exciting.
What's so cool about this, because I have to look at the numbers, there's perfection in the number 7, and this year is the year around the number 15. And the fact that they were valued at 15, I mean, it's all, so there's a little, anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but that is really, really fascinating to see that. Hear that. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I was like freaking out last night because I was like, I thought that was like, you know, as a researcher, I get really excited when I can like uncover nuggets like in the least likely places, like CNBC, you know. I mean,
oh my gosh, that's
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's take a minute and let's talk about where we're heading. All right. So as we can see from these new systems, what's going to happen is we're moving towards an interconnected global economy with a new banking system called open banking, which is a private public partnership with fintechs. So a fintech company is a company like Ripple, like Coinbase, like Gemini, like Uphold, like Voyager, right? They're all fintech companies. And the current legacy banking systems like Wells Fargo, Chase, blah, blah, blah. Open banking is looking to transform business operations and payment transactions across North America. As the fintechs and the banks explore alternatives to debit and credit card transactions and lean into account-to-account payment networking, education, and additional regulatory guidance around open banking will help usher in this new paradigm. Ripple.com, open banking, it's right there. We are ushering into a new paradigm. Kelly is laughing. She's laughing. I love this. I mean, this is unbelievable. You know, the whole time, right? The media is saying the United States is so far behind in crypto. right? We're behind. We're behind. And even the fintech companies, we're behind. And it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? The United States is so far behind in China. Meanwhile, the United States digital coin is the most used digital dollar in crypto. So we're ahead of the game. We're number one. Okay. We're not late because we know that the Federal Reserve has been working with Ripple since 2015
All behind the
on
scenes.
cross. It's in, I
Smoke
mean,
and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
And I keep on seeing all these t-shirts. We got to put more t-shirts in our store, right? I'm thinking, I've got all these ideas going through my mind right now. Like, oh my gosh, let's be a banner. Let's all walk with our t-shirts and, decentralized world and open banking and all these things. It's so exciting.
It's so exciting. I mean, it's just, let's get some more t-shirts. I'm wearing my XRP t-shirt today because the documents should be unsealed today. And like, once the documents are unsealed, it'll be interesting to see how much XRP goes up. I mean, we could speculate all day long. We have no idea. The only centralized exchange in America where you can buy XRP is Uphold. And then if they block the transfer of payments, using your SafePal wallet or whatever it may be, it could be a little bit harder to acquire XRP. But again, if you're having a hard time, just reach out to me and Kelly. We're here to help.
Just for a point of reference, at this moment, XRP is trading at 76 cents. So we'll check in later today and see what it is.
Yep. We're going to keep checking it. And again, it's like, once the lawsuit and once XRP gets declared, even if it's declared as like some sort of security, they're still using it, right? I mean, it's such a big part of this new digital economy. I was kind of like diving deep and pulling some of the old notes that I had, and like, what makes Ripple so special and what there's the problem that Ripple is trying to solve, right, is like, if banks transfer money from country to country, they need to lock up their dollars until that transfer is done, and it can take a couple of days. We've talked about this a lot. So what Ripple does is they provide on-demand liquidity using XRP to no longer have to pre-fund these accounts and hold the money for cross-border payments. We're talking instantaneous settlement at pennies on the dollar. So again, Ripple announced just over the past couple of weeks, they have joined the Digital Pounds Foundation. They have joined the Digital Euro Foundation. They are part, I can't believe this, because it's like, sometimes I can't believe that this is like true, right? But we know they're partnered with Bank of America, PNC, Santander, American Express. They've been working with the World Economic Forum. They've been working with the International Monetary Fund, right? So the International Monetary Fund is a very interesting international institution consisting of 190 countries, fostering global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability. They facilitate international trade, and they give global monetary support when countries need a bailout. The International Monetary Fund bails them out. A long time ago, I read a document from the IMF that had XRP listed as a supranational currency. What's a supranational currency? A supranational currency can replace, I'm not saying it will, it can replace or become part of the global reserve currency.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
That's
the IMF, okay? Yeah, I mean, mind blown, okay? I pulled a document from the World Bank that had listed XRP and XLM as cross-border payment solutions on the World Bank. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we have the IMF, we have the World Bank, we have major legacy banking institutions that have partnered with Ripple. And it's not just Ripple, right? They've partnered with Stellar and all these other things, but we're talking about Ripple. But like, could it be possible if the IMF, could it be possible that the United States dollar is no longer the only reserve currency of the world? And as we move from a legacy system to a new digital economy, would it make sense that we have a basket of reserve currencies that includes the United States dollar, the Chinese yen, the yuan, or is that the Japanese yen? Chinese yuan, sorry, right? But it could be a couple of these different countries. And could it be a digital super national currency as part of the global reserve basket of currencies?
I was having a conversation just yesterday with somebody, and I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be amazing if there was just a level playing field? And we weren't talking about cryptocurrencies. We were just talking about the world in general. Let's just level the playing field.
Yeah.
And treat each other. This was a part of the conversation, but also be aware of being able to treat each other as human beings that are worthy of the same acknowledgement and being witnessed regardless of where you are in any hierarchical structure. Finance,
oh, absolutely.
I mean, all this stuff. Let's just move the labels and the preconceived mandates, if you will. So anyway.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is like, so Christine Lagarde, like she used to be the managing director of the IMF. She's now the president of the European Central Bank. Now, so they're having a meeting on July 31st about the digital SDR. And SDR is a special drawing rights that the IMF currently uses for institutions to help bail them out or give them loans or things like that. The question we want to start asking ourselves is that special drawing rights going to be changed to XRP? We're going to find out. I mean, this is big. I don't know if this is right. I'm totally speculating. But when I do the research and I think about, back in 1971, okay, the United States went off the gold standard. In 1971, the World Economic Forum was created. Okay, you go a little bit further back. We had a stock market crash of 1929. We went into the Great Depression. All of the leaders, I think there was 44 countries that were at the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference. They all met in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Okay, they decided back in the day that the United States dollar was going to be backed by gold, and that was going to be the reserve currency of the world. At that Bretton Woods agreement, the IMF and the World Bank was created, and boom, the dollar was the gold standard. Now in 1971, President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, right? Because again, we kind of were moving from gold to oil as being the most valuable asset in the world. So what the United States did was they met with Saudi Arabia, who makes a lot of the oil, not all of it, but a lot of it. And they said, all trading must be done in US dollars. And in exchange, the United States will provide you military protection. The deal was done. The United States dollar got taken off the gold standard, and it was kind of like almost backed by like gold at that time. And I've talked about this before. What is the most valued asset today? It's data. It's not gold. It's not oil. It's data. Okay. So could it be XRP? Could it be a digital asset that's going to kind of provide this financial stability with all these different countries' currencies? I know this sounds crazy, but I haven't been wrong yet. Like I haven't been wrong, right? So I don't know, but I haven't been wrong through all of the research that I've done. I'm just like, holy shit, like this is totally possible. I mean,
Your theses. I mean, this
this
is
is
your
my
thesis.
thesis, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so now I'm speculating, okay, so 44 countries got together in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. They came up with the Bretton Woods Agreement that gold was going to be, kind of like the dollar was going to be backed by gold. That was the reserve currency. July 31st of this year, they're going to go over the current special drawing rights valuation for their basket of currencies effective August 1st, 2022. So August of this year, could we have a Bretton Woods agreement, a new Bretton Woods 2, where we move completely over to this digital economy? I think that it's possible. I do.
So you're saying that they meet on July 31st? I'm just looking ahead to some of my notes for the year.
So July 31st, 2022, Christine Lagarde was kind of talking about a new world currency is coming. They want a basket of reserve currencies to go into effect August 1st, 2022. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. The IMF has been trying to get their special drawing rights as part of the reserve currency for years. But as we see how everything is unfolding, all roads are kind of leading to this for now, right?
Interesting.
It's so
one day notice. It's like, we're going to meet on the 31st and effective. I mean, I know that this is part of the whole, who knows what's going to happen, hypothetical, but it's like, we're meeting, tomorrow's the day. Boom, boom.
Right. Because this has been going on for years. Like,
right.
we know Bank of America has been partnered with Ripple since 2017. And all of these companies, okay, it's not like this is something where the pandemic hit and people were getting COVID from dollars, right? They wanted this to happen. Klaus Schwab, out of his mouth, said we cannot let a good crisis go to waste. So they're using this to implement this new digital economy that they want to track. And we're here to tell you, look, we're going to shift into this new system as all of these decentralized systems come about. Because all we need, y'all, is a decentralized payment wallet that is not run on Google or Apple Pay. Now, we could go to Sash Direct and we can get that decentralized wallet and you could get like gift cards and go pay for things. But it's still, you have to download Google and Apple. And we know when countries and government are in conflict with their people, they freeze those accounts.
Yeah, they
So I'm on it. I'm going to keep looking. All of our currency, all of our tokens are safe offline right now. And once we get this decentralized payment option, and that could be Silo. It could be there's so many different ones that are being designed and built right now. So just stay tuned and we'll tell you the best one. But these are, my mind has been like exploding because this is literally 1 week's time. One week.
On that, there may be emergency podcasts here and there.
Yes.
It's going to happen next week, right? Or the coming weeks and months.
Right.
We may.
Yeah. So if we hear anything, so one document's been unsealed with the Ripple lawsuit, Judge Torres, she's in her chambers, closed doors. She unsealed the documents. The first one was released. And the next two, unless Ripple and their lawyers are lying, XRP should be declared a digital currency. And that will give general clarity and regulation, unfortunately, through litigation. But once we get this clarity, it doesn't just help XRP, it helps all the coins.
Undoubtedly. Well, I'm just watching XRP on an hourly chart right now, and it just is It's not going anywhere. There's so much undecisiveness right now in the market. It'll be really interesting to see what takes place here. So.
Right. I mean, and there's so much FUD going on, right? And there's so many concerns with like instability of government. The Ukraine just legalized Bitcoin as legal tender. Indonesia just approved 200 cryptocurrencies as assets. So here we go, y'all. It's totally happening. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your neighbors. This, you guys, like, it's like TikTok.
Exactly.
TikTok. And I know most of us don't know anything about money. Why would we, right? I mean, if you're a teacher, if you're like whatever you are, you know, unless you're like a financial analyst or a trader, you are like, what the hell is going on? Or you have no idea what's going on. Some people don't know what cryptocurrency is.
Well, I tell you one thing, I hope that somebody out there is rewriting the financial book for dummies, because it needs to be rewritten. I had a friend recently purchase that book, and I was flipping through it. It was written in 2009, and oh my goodness, boy, does it need it needs to be completely restructured.
We need to restructure our school systems. You know, like I was thinking, like I could teach all the young people about cryptocurrency and blockchain, like everything that we teach in our classes, like everything is going to change. And like through this transition, we have the opportunity to take control of our financial system.
Oh, so many wheels are turning. So many wheels are turning.
And I know I said a lot, so that's a lot.
There's a lot, but there always is, and there will always be so much to share, truly. I mean, I think every now and again we might have an ebb and flow in the current, but right now I think it's going to be what 2022 is about, is a lot of information to share. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and sharing with your friends and family, and liking us on YouTube, because our podcasts are available on varying platforms. And I don't know if there's any more you want to share before we bring things to a close this day. I'm sure you could find a myriad of other things, but if there's something really important, make sure to get it in.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said a lot of good things, like kind of like connecting the dots today, but like as like we head out for, you know, for now, I just want us all to think about XRP and the XRP ledger. I really cannot drive this point home, but the XRP ledger was set up for this decade. It was set up for this decade, and there'll be others, but like the United States of America, Europe, Asia, Latin America, it's XRP, baby. And all the other ones. But I'm telling you, oh my God, what if XRP is part of this basket? I don't know. And maybe it won't be right away. Maybe they'll keep the dollar, and then like in 5-10 years, they'll phase out the dollar. I don't know, but that's my thesis. I think that out of all the digital currencies, XRP could be the one.
Well, you've been sticking to your guns this whole time. I mean, and you do the deep dive. You come to the table with a lot of, you know, history and research, and, you know the storyline really well.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, and that's the thing. It's like the United Nations was my client, you know, the federal banking, you know, the Federal Reserve Banking, they were my client. Like I understand the systems, I understand the technology, and I could see the systems being built, which is why I transferred so much of our money into cryptocurrency as soon as the pandemic hit. Because I heard Klaus Schwab say, like, now is the moment of time for the Great Reset. They're walking us through the Great Reset. And we're like halfway through, and it blows my mind that people don't know what it is. It blows me away, but I don't know. Just keep sharing the information with everybody. We want to help every single person.
That's why
we want to help them.
And actually, a great book to read too is called The Fourth Turning.
Yes.
Is an excellent book to read, to be aware of.
We are in the fourth turning. Here we go. Fourth
turning. And we are, and I would like to say we're pretty well into it, but we still have a pretty long way to go, but we're in it. Undoubtedly.
We have 8 years. We have 10 years the most. We're going to be in a fully digitized, tokenized, democratized economy. Here we go. It's happening.
Here we go. And yep, hodl on.
Hodl on.
Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. Andrea can be reached at digitalcoach@protonmail.com, or you can find her on LinkedIn at Andrea Caldero. Kelly runs 2 programs related to cryptocurrency. The Future in You Cryptocurrency Group for Women, which can be found at new72media.com/thefuture, and The Gateway to Crypto, The Magic of Flipmir, through the Northern Gateway at thenortherngateway.org/cryptocurrency.